What is up, guys? Terrible, terrible day in South Korea for Johnny Somali. You love to see it. This is one of those stories which I think everyone's kind of interested in because they want to see something bad happen to somebody that was doing bad to others. And that's exactly what Johnny Somali was. He was a victimizer of innocent people that were just trying to go about their days, children, old ladies running convenience stores. And he thought he could just go away from country to country to country like a locust, soaking up super chats in Kek or Robot Streamer or wherever he is. I don't know. These days, I think he's been banned from most platforms. He has now been stuck in South Korea for, I believe, the last 2 years. And oh boy, this has been a big one. And the best part about this is we know the sentencing date now. Finally, April 15th. Mark it down. Mark it down. South Korea wants 3 years with hard labor for Johnny Somali. Real name, of course, Ramsey Khalid Ismael. After streamer offends judge. I mean, this is just the stupidest thing you could possibly do. Why would you offend the judge? And he's been doing this online to his small audience, growing smaller by the day, now that his defeat is all but assured. But why would you make fun of the judge, make fun of the prosecution when you're recording it online and people are archiving and everyone is out to get you? That's exactly what's happening here. I've always wanted to attend one of these trials, and I think we're going to make it happen for the sentencing. I wanted it to be a big one. If I'd been to this one, it would have been good. But I don't know. I'm feeling pretty high. I'm feeling the spring hype. It's happening. It's happening. Streamer Johnny Somali facing long time in prison with forced labor as South Korean trial is wrapping up. I think everyone can join me in the chat by saying, welcome home. Welcome home. SP Spellers with a 10 says, you've already gone to Korea. We're starting an India fund. I would love to go to India. I think you're the only other person interested in seeing me go there. The price for India is $2K. That's what it's going to cost me in expenses and getting around there and all the medical visits I'll have to go to afterwards. Trucker Rob with a 2 saying, suffer, Johnny Somali. Yes, indeed, suffer. And Alpha Omega saying, Johnny's getting the glass rod. It seems that'll be the case. If you're unaware, if you're uninitiated in the Johnny Somali coverage, although we do this quite infrequently, in South Korea, if you're going into prison or being detained, they sometimes, allegedly, will use a glass rod to test your prison pocket. Why is it a glass rod? Because it's transparent and they can illuminate it. They can literally light your asshole up. And it seems like that may be the case in Johnny Somali's trial. So let's go. I don't know. Like I've always joked about America having cruel and unusual punishment being a bad thing to have banned in the Constitution. I think cruel and unusual punishment is funny, especially when the criminals are cruel and unusual. And this is what he did. He victimized old little Korean ladies. He made a mockery of the victims of World War II, women that all across South Korea, these were people's daughters, their wives, their mothers, their grandmothers. The comfort women of Korea is a big issue. And he thought he could just go over there and make light of it and get away with it and claim that he was ignorant. Well, sorry, it's the FO part of the FA. All right, back in 2024, after being arrested on trips to Japan and Israel, Johnny Somali, real name Ramsey Khalid Ismael, traveled to South Korea in the next chapter of his streaming career. Just like with his experience in other countries, the American was arrested after several problematic incidents. Now, people think that Japan went really easy on him. Actually, that's not the case. He spent a lot of time in a Japanese jail cell, and that's not fun. It's actually one of the worst places you can be. Not as bad as, say, like Vitali's experience, I suppose, in the Philippines, but it's pretty awful. And we'll be checking in with Mr. Legal Moinset and his wrap-up and fast facts of the case towards the end of this. He often says the phrase, the process is the punishment. And this is what's crazy, is Johnny Somali entered Asia around like 21, 22. I'm not exactly sure. He's now 23. Sorry, no, he's now 25. He's now 25. If he goes into jail for 3 years, he comes back to America 28. His 30s are basically entirely being dissolved by this. I do have a poll running, so let me know if you think this was harsh, he needs more, or if it's just right, or if he didn't do nothing. Let me know. He was causing incidents and chaos in a 7-Eleven, disrupting a bus, and blasting North Korean propaganda and more. And one of the things with the and more is that he was, and this is something that I guess it's if you've been following the Johnny Somali coverage, you know about this. But he was blasting like essentially pornography in front of children at Lotte World. And Lotte World is like Disney World. Well, not quite, because, you know, Disney World or Disneyland, you only find adults there these days. But imagine going to like a children's theme park and just blasting like sex noises in front of children. He knew exactly what he was doing. He had the ability anytime to shut it off. He did it for the purpose of eliciting anger and ire of the Korean people to entertain his audience. This is one of the things that he's done. And yep, can't do that, my friend. You can't do that. Well, Ismael pled guilty to quite a few offenses. And this is also a very funny part of the Korean judicial system. Because he pled guilty to these previous cases, he is now, in the eyes of the Korean court system, a repeat offender, which means subsequent charges will be more harsh. So it's kind of a little bit of 4D chess maybe by the Korean prosecutors, not sure. He desperately tried to get the deepfake charges dismissed after allegedly distributing AI videos featuring Korean creators. Now, this is allegedly, he did do this. Now, you might think, what is the big deal? Obviously, deepfakes is one of those issues where people can go like a variety of different opinions on it. And most people think it's a dick move to do this, at the very least. Some people, if like some of the Grok users, of course, think it's like the best thing that they've ever had. But in Korea, this is a very serious offense. It's like it got so bad and if you only know anything about the Korean gender relations, they basically have a civil war between men and women. It got so bad that even like generating an image of you kissing somebody is essentially revenge pornography in South Korea. Now, is that like very strict and maybe like a little bit heavy-handed? Maybe, perhaps. But sorry. You thought it would be very funny to have your friends generate these images and then distribute them on your stream with the two people. On February 27th, 2026. Oh, wow, that's yesterday. Johnny Somali, who went viral for being KO'd by a Navy SEAL. And the funny thing about this guy, what is this, Dalgun? He got all of his court fees paid for by, I want to say, it was one of the gun streamers. I'm not sure exactly who. Chad will remind me. He returned to court to make his closing arguments, which have seemingly landed him in even more hot water. Johnny Somali reportedly offends the judge after blaming the South Korean legal system. That seems like a good idea. That seems like an absolutely good idea. Grok put me in a bikini. No, that's not going to happen. Grok isn't allowed to do this anymore. And the funny, like I talked about this before. Sorry, I'm going to try and stay off tangent today because I do have somewhere to be. But you can't do this anymore. Elon got shut down. You can still do it in private, though, I suppose. All right. According to YouTuber, friend of the show, and lawyer Legal Mindset, Somali issued an apology in which he claimed to be held captive in Korea for a year and a half. Even if the worst case situation happens and they give him a fine of like a couple $100 and he's released from Korea, at the very least, a year and a half of his life is gone, just being wasted in South Korea, waiting for these proceedings to conclude. And it's like, oh, a year and a half, that doesn't seem like it's a very long time for a 20-year-old. A lot of the people's 20s, those are their important years to like build up, to get experience, to see the world, to do all these things. This is gone. Like a year in your 20s is like worth 2 in your 30s. And it's like worth 4 in your 50s or something like that. I don't know. That's how the math works out. I did some foolish things under the influence of alcohol. Hey, buddy. Doesn't count. Oh, no, I just got drunk and drove and ran over a bunch of school kids, but it was under the influence of alcohol. So clearly I'm innocent. No, it doesn't work like that. And obviously this is fake because he did this while sober all the time. And I realized the consequences. Well, you do fucking now. Let's go. You do fucking now. It's only when consequences are actually in front of you that these people actually give a shit about them. I sincerely apologize for this, he said. He doesn't give it. If he gets out of Korea, the first thing he's going to do is start making fun of Korea. This is exactly what happened with Japan. It's exactly what happened with Israel. Hopefully the Koreans are smart enough to know this. Having been born and raised in the United States, I did not realize how serious the consequences of these actions were. Absolutely liar. Of which would not be illegal in the United States. Bullshit. You can't just go in and start disrupting places of business. And like, some people are like, well, what did he do? Did he play music? No, he like threw hot noodles on the floor in front of these Korean convenience store workers. These are old ladies. They're minimum wage workers. They're just trying to do their best. They're just trying to get by. They don't have the greatest situation, and you're taking advantage of them for your own enrichment. Disgusting behavior. And the funny thing is, for Johnny, is these old ladies were actually trying to help him, because what he was trying to do was drink inside the convenience store, which was recently made illegal in Korea, and she was just informing her, Johnny, of the new requirements. And this woman could lose her job because of this guy if he just keeps doing it. And he just puts on this like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. As soon as she turns her back, shit is thrown on the ground, spilling water everywhere. Who's going to clean that shit up? It looks like he's going to be the one cleaning it up with hard labor. Welcome home. Welcome home, Johnny Somali. Oh, my gosh. You love to see it. You love to see it. And he said that this would be illegal in Korea. Now, some of his crimes, I guess you could make this argument, like the defacing the statues, rubbing the baby oil on the images of miners being brutally essayed in South Korea during the World War II by the Japanese. Sure, maybe defacing a statue is not illegal in America, but to even pretend that you don't know, was it Donut Operator? Yes, there you go. It was Donut Operator who did it. Good boy, Donut Operator. Is just a bridge too far. Somali then reportedly took issue with the deepfake charges. Oh no. Noting how another Korean streamer, Bong Bong, shared the same videos. Now, this is not a winning argument in any sense of the law. Well, I did something illegal, but other people did illegal things. Doesn't work. Doesn't fucking work. The prosecutor has discretion to charge anything that they want. Now, what was happening here is that Bong Bong is a female Korean live streamer. I believe she does IRL, and she's a bit of a provocateur herself. Johnny Somali shared images of them kissing and claimed that he was her girlfriend. Now, in Asian cultures, it's obviously a little bit different, but generally public displays of affection are very rare. If you're holding someone's hands in public, you basically never see this in Japan or Korea. If you're kissing someone, this is an implied sexual relationship. So it's a serious deal over there. But not only did he share this, he also shared one, I believe, of him and I forget that. I think the name comes up in just a moment in this article. But it was a male guy, and I believe they were both naked on top of each other. Now, this other guy, he's got some images of his own. But he thought that this was going to get dropped. It doesn't seem like that is the case. The law is unfair since the police didn't do anything when I tried to purport Bong Bong. Also a very funny name. I'm asking for the law to apply it fairly. Well, even if they apply it fairly, they could just put Bong Bong in prison. This isn't going to work. Is chat being weird again? Apparently chat is being a little bit overly aggressive with the new AI moderators that YouTube is implementing. Press a 1 in the chat. Be sure to like the stream and see if your messages are getting through. I've got the chat on screen so you can verify if you are being suppressed. My channel is under attack. Who knows? Who knows? I'm still young. Well, I mean, you're going to be unk status when you get out of Korea. Like 28. You're basically 30 at that point. It's all over, Johnny. It's over. And I want to see my family and go home. You know, the funniest thing, this isn't actually funny. This is sad. Like sometimes I use the words funny for sad. Do you know how Johnny Somali's father learned about all this? Johnny Somali's father was at work, and his coworker came up and said, look at this retard getting arrested in South Korea. He showed him the phone. He looked at the phone. He's like, that's my son. That's how his family found out about this. I'm not sure about his relationship with his mother, but who can say? Who can say? Please show me leniency. The time for leniency is over, Johnny. It's over. There could have been leniency, perhaps, because he continued to commit offenses in Korea while waiting for the other charges to go through. Because this is like in Korea, when you're facing these charges, you're free to go until sentencing, essentially. So people are wondering, like, why isn't he behind bars? Why can he continue to go out in the street practically naked and harass and dance in front of people and do all of these sexual, ram his ass into people, things like that? People ask why could he do that? This is how the Korean law system works. But he continued to commit offenses while awaiting pending charges. So clearly there was no empathy. There was no remorse here. He just thought he would get away with it. He thought it was like $100 fine, $500 fine, even a $10,000 fine. That'd be a win for Johnny, because when he was in Japan, he was claiming that he was making $20,000 a day in super chats. If you go to a country and tarnish their reputation, make a fool of yourself, and irreparably ruin racial relations between the country and your own country, perhaps for years to come, if you make 20,000 days doing that for a month, you're doing pretty fucking well. Actually, maybe it wasn't 20,000. Maybe it was 20,000 a month. Maybe it was $2,000 a day. My memory's a little bit fuzzy on this. I think it was $2,000 a day because $20,000 a day is crazy. But yeah, if he's there for a month and making $2,000 a day, comes out of the month at the end of it, like what, $60,000? You get a $10,000 fine? That's a business expense. That's rewarding Johnny Somali. Legal Mindset, oh my goodness, Legal Mindset, claims that the judge was baffled by this and wasn't having any of the argument. The prosecution then followed up, recommending some serious punishments against the streamer. The prosecutor recommended 3 years in prison with labor, a maximum fine of 150,000 won, which is about $100. The Korean money system is crazy. Like in Japan, like $10 is like 1,000 yen. When I go over there, it's like 10,000 won for like the same price. I'm like, it confuses the hell out of me. But this would actually be joke. This would be jokes as hell. Like imagine they're at sentencing, and it's like Johnny Somali, donk donk. We sentence you to $100 fine, and he's like, oh, thank God, and 3 years manual labor in the fields. Oh my God, I pray to God they do that. That'd be so good. Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And that he was placed on the sex offender registry. Oh, and I've heard something funny about this. I'm not sure, but my understanding is that if you get placed on the sex offender register in South Korea, that applies to America as well. So as soon as he returns to America, his name is completely tarnished. He's 28. He has no experience. He's banned from every streaming platform. He then has to register as an American sex offender. He is fucking cooked. Holy crap. What job prospect? Like, it's just over. It's just over if this is true. This may even impact him once he returns to America, and failing to register in the US could result in more consequences. Oh my God, this is too fun. This is too funny. Like so often you see pieces of shit get away with it in life. To see one person, I think this is why people are so invested in the Johnny Somali's case. Like, it's because it's a case of a very clear bad guy. He has no redeeming qualities. You have no reason to feel empathy for this guy. He's just a piece of shit through and through, 100%. And he's gonna get what's coming to him. Love to see it. He is set to be sentenced, his next hearing on April 15th. April 15th, set the date. I think I'm going to book my flights today. Like, I had a look at the prices. A round trip from my place to Seoul, South Korea, it's $200. I think I have to be there in person. But it's going to be like the courtroom's going to be absolutely packed. Like, there's going to be YouTubers there. There's going to be Korean press there. Maybe I'll have to sit outside the courtroom, but then I get to see his dejected face as he comes out. Oh, that'd be so. Oh wait, maybe they bring him out in fucking chains. Who knows? I think I have to make this happen. I was already planning kind of a spring trip to. I was going to go to Busan. I was going to check out the cherry blossoms in Busan, which is the southern city, of course, in Korea. But that's going to be around March. I wanted to go and see, like, all of the beautiful places in Busan, and also check out some of Jeff's old stomping grounds and the places that he took me and stuff like that, as sort of like a bit of a nostalgia trip. I think I'm going to have to make it. Over there. Do we book the flights today, chat? I put up the Korea fund. We'll see. After the judge refused his request to be sentenced quickly. Now, this is what's a funny part that comes up, is that typically in Korea, my understanding is that sentencing comes about 2 weeks after the closing arguments. And Johnny Somali actually asked, he requested to be released, to be sentenced quickly. The judge is like, yeah, how about another 2 months to cook? Just let him cook. I mean, at the very least, he'll get to see the sakura season or the cherry. I don't know what the sakura is called in South Korean. That's a good question, actually. Fun fact: I'm a bit of a Korea boo, and I started learning. Korean in university as one of my first subjects, but the class was dropped because only 6 people were taking it, which is unfortunate. The only thing I think I remember from Korean class was like hojo saramyo, which I sometimes use when I meet Korean people, and they always have a bit of a giggle. But that's about the extent of my Korean. Though Korea is a fantastic place to visit. You don't need Korean to go visit there. The case comes as streamers across the globe have been facing major punishments for their antics on live broadcasts. I mean, it had to happen. Honestly, I think Vitali got off a bit easily. He did spend quite a while though. Like, it was over 100 days in the Philippine jail. That's not a nice place to be. But Vitali's now free, and he's back in America. I feel like there has to be somebody to serve as a reminder. It's like those old demotivational posters. Maybe your role in life is to set or to be an example to other people of what not to do. I feel like Johnny has to be that person. It's his role in life, is to teach IRL streamers you can't just go to someone else's house, trash all the shit, and then move on to the next house like a locust. Notably, Vitali spent nearly, it's 300 days? Almost a full year. That's crazy. He spent nearly 300 days behind bars in the Philippines after antagonizing residents, stealing, making unwanted advances towards a security guard, and attempting to grab his weapon. He was eventually deported to Mother Russia. Jack Doherty is also facing up to 7 years in prison. I hadn't heard about this. After controversial broadcast where he was charged with resisting arrest and possession of a controlled substance while filming a video. That's the basis of the video. Now, Johnny Somali has been coping because he actually got his YouTube restored, which is quite funny. He said, how I got the deepfake charge dropped. He's trying to find any income because the hot gossip on the street is that Hank is abandoning Johnny. Now, Hank Yo is like his own controversial figure in his own right, and he's kind of butt buddies with Johnny Somali and been letting him live rent-free and tax-free in his home in South Korea. And Hank has been avoiding his conscript duties in South Korea as well. He hasn't been at the last 2 court cases based on insider knowledge, which means it may be over. He may be cutting him loose. So Johnny Somali's only income is from his YouTube, which is getting basically nothing of views and going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And Trucker Rob with $100. Let's fucking go. Korea trip in this economy, it's more likely than you think. Look, unless there's some unforeseen crazy situation, I think we're going to South Korea, boys. Let's make it happen. Let's fucking go. Big support from Trucker Rob. Love to see it. Now, I believe that Johnny is actually lying here. Absolutely. Because I think this came up in today's court case. We'll check it out in the quick facts of the legal mindset video. Johnny Somali also said that he believes, and this is, if you're interested in following Johnny Somali news, probably the 2 best people is obviously Legal Mindset, who's covering the legal aspects and was a resident of Korea until he moved to Thailand. But Johnny Somali is also very good at, whoa, buddy. My voice is going a bit hoarse already. We've only just started. But this will be a bit of a quick stream. The video before Johnny Somali's February hearing. Johnny Somali expects to leave South Korea no later than May. Well, we'll see about that, Johnny Somali. Also, he is 100% certain that he will be found innocent of the deepfakes. I don't think so. But if he's found guilty and sentenced to prison, he will be suspended anyway. Let's listen to Johnny Somali. Maybe the last time we ever hear him, to be honest.
So my next court date is February 11th. I'm going to assume that my last court date is going to be maybe a month or 2 or 3 after that max. So I'm going to say maybe maximum May I'm leaving. March.
Which May? He said, well, maybe this will be true. I'm leaving in May 2029.
March to May is when I'm hopefully leaving Korea.
Yeah. Which year, Johnny? Which year?
That's all I know, guys. That's all I can tell you. March to May. That's all I know. I am 100% convinced I'm going to be found innocent.
100% convinced. I mean, anyone got the poly market on this? 100%. Let's go, Johnny. No jail time. I mean, if he gets away with it, I'm going to be heartbroken. I need to see some justice. At the very least, I think there's probably 3 scenarios. I'm leaning towards jail time. I think jail time is almost definitely secured, at least a year's worth of jail time. Maybe not the maximum of 3. The judge obviously has discretion. Now, my understanding is the judge could give him more. Like some people have been saying 7 years, 14 years. I don't think that's going to happen. But it could be more than the 3. It could absolutely be more than the 3. I think the judge will probably find some sort of a happy medium of maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe just to teach him a bit of a lesson. And that would still be pretty good. But at the very least, please 1 year in jail and the sex offender registry, because that's going to follow him forever. And he needs to understand that these things have long-lasting consequences. But there's basically 3 scenarios. There's the fine, deportation. That's the worst case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. Fine and sex offender registry. I think I would almost be okay with that. Coming back from Korea and carrying a sex offender registry in America for your entire life. I feel like that's pretty good, considering he's already spent the better part of 5 years in Asia going through the Korean and Japanese legal systems. But I think we have to see jail time. What do you think, chat? Is it 1 for he needs jail, 2 for fine and registry, and 3 for he a good boy. He didn't do nothing wrong. Post it in the chat while you're liking the stream.
I'm honestly not like, if I was tripping, would I be live right now talking about, like, bro, I'm not afraid. These are little ass charges, guys. You guys, these little ass charges. These are like little childish case. It's not serious.
No, it isn't. It's a big fucking deal.
If they wanted me to be in jail, I'll be in jail right now.
No, that's not how it works. Like that. This is just absolute cope and actual seethe. The Korean court system states that you are free until you're sentenced. Okay? It's like they just let you, they free range their people until they're fully convicted. And honestly, that seems pretty fair. I think that most legal systems should probably work like that. And obviously, there's a chance that people could run away or escape. But his passport's been taken and he has a travel ban, so he can't leave the country. The only situation this guy gets out of South Korea is if he steals a fishing boat and paddles to China. I mean, the Japanese Coast Guard will shoot him down. So he can't come to Japan. Like, that would be a disaster. That's his only, like, escape, is smuggled into China. And that's not going to be better for him either as well. But absolute cope.
You understand that? I'm telling you right now with 100% certainty, is a 99% chance, 99.9% chance I will never see the inside of a Korean jail or prison. 99.9% chance. Guys, let's say March comes or whatever comes. They say Johnny Somali.
It doesn't matter. March is not on the table. It's April.
All right. We already tortured you enough. We kept you in the country 1.5 years or whatever. We kept you in the country almost 2 years, 1.5 years. They're going to say, Johnny, pay this money fine. You're banned from Korea and you're deported. That's
No, that would be a win for Johnny, because like I just explained, it would just be a business expense. Now, it's pretty hard to get business expenses on 1.5 years in Korea. Like, unless you got like 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 in super chats, it would be a loss. But it would still just be an avenue for him to come back.
And if they give me a jail sentence, let's say, oh, like 6 months in jail, 1 year in.
I think you forgot running through the DMZ. What do you think is going to happen if Johnny Somali sneaks over the North-South Korean border and starts running into North Korea? He's gone. He's absolutely gone if he tries to do that. It won't work.
It's going to be suspended sentence. That's basically, you guys know what probation is in America. It's the same thing. You're a first-time offender. You did a crime.
He's not a first-time offender because in previous court cases, he already pled guilty.
If you do another crime, we'll put you in jail. But since you're not a citizen, we're going to deport you. That is literally what is...
No. This is not true. In fact, in South Korea, they have a special foreigner-only prison. Now, mostly it's like Chinese drug dealers and like Russian gangsters and things like that. But they actually have a specific jail just for foreigners. Now, we could also go to the Korean jail. That would arguably be much worse because I would assume that Korean jails are probably pretty similar to Japanese ones, where they basically beat you with a stick if you don't speak Japanese. And do you think that he spent his 1.5 years in Korea studying Hangul? I don't think so.
Going to happen. I can literally 99%. They're going to say, okay, if we're gonna, 6 months in jail, but suspended sentence, deported.
I guess.
That's literally what's
Johnny.
Literally what's gonna happen.
Johnny, does your lawyer has your lawyer like told you how like
my lawyer told me it's a fucking joke. My lawyer told me this is all a joke. The lawyer.
I think like you know what? I'm not gonna disparage Johnny's lawyer. He's got a pretty hard case for him. He's playing life on hard mode. This is like the Dark Souls of fucking prosecution of defense court. And I thought he was a tax accountant, a tax lawyer or something though. They didn't get the best guy, is what I'll say. All right, now, legal mindset, friend of the channel. Let's take a quick look at his fast facts. Johnny Somali destroyed Incat. Be sure to like. I'll like that. I may be seeing Andrew very soon, actually.
A.K. Ramsey Khalid Ismael was absolutely crushed today in court.
See what his thoughts about this are.
Massive consequences as the FAFO hits. We're going to get into that today on the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge.
I think Andrew doesn't get the kabuki pass, though. As he's lived in South Korea and Bangkok. Sorry, this is just a pet peeve. Not really, but like the kabuki pass, I think that belongs to me only.
Andrew Esper, American attorney over here in Asia.
It's fine,
and this is the Fast Facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. And of course, we've been following the Johnny Somali trial from the beginning and giving you the real narrative, I believe
this was in Japan, although I'm not sure. I don't recognize this train line. And I do know quite a lot of trains. This may be a South Korean train.
Facts, the real consequences on what's going down in Korea for Johnny Somali. And
this is Korean rail. Never mind.
We are at the end here.
What do you think the punishment should be for dancing on a train, though, chat?
He indeed had a massive hearing today that actually had a little bit of a twist, which we'll get into and
What's
get
a
into the
twist?
details here. So today's hearing we thought was just going to be involving modifying the indictments, potentially either, modifying the deepfakes, adding charges, maybe doing something else like that. But what they threw in was they added in closing arguments. Typically that is done on a different day, but they allowed those closing arguments to proceed today. So we actually have an update on Johnny Somali's closing argument and his.
It's pretty bad, by the way. I've already seen it. Not this video, but like I've already seen his argument on the text transcript.
Whole spiel, his last attempt to make his defense, which failed miserably. We had the Somali conviction team present there, taking notes, taking transcripts, so we have very good details there. There was no Hank in the courtroom. This is the second time that Hank has not been there.
Do you think the Hank relationship's over, chat? The Hank Yo misses 2 court dates. I think he's already cutting him loose. I mean, Hank's got problems of his own. He doesn't want to be caught down on a sinking ship. It's time for the rats to abandon.
In the courtroom with Ramsey Khalid Ismael. Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey Khalid Ismael, RKI, made a very bad argument in terms of his closing argument that was poorly received. Everybody in the court was shocked by the fact that he was making these statements and going this angle with his closing argument. And even the judge had a visible bad reaction to what he was doing. The prosecution.
Oh, sorry. This is an unfortunate pause for Andrew. But I mean, he's got that great hair, so I have to give these unfortunate these are pauses. Oh, I was watching a Bald and Bankrupt video about when he did a video talking about the 3 times he was like arrested in Soviet countries and things like that. And when he was arrested in I think it was between during the Russian and Ukraine war, he went in and said that he was facing hard labor as well, and he said to the judge, it was a female judge, gavel drawn as it were, and was like, I love Russia, but I'd like the outside more than the inside of a jail. And she laughed and he giggled, and he knew that he was getting off free. There's a complete reverse of that situation where the judge is scowling at you, just shaking his fucking head. It's done.
Also gave the recommended punishment, and it is way worse than most people would have expected, and actually has some real consequences for him even in the United States. So we're going to talk about that as well.
Oh yes, I'm actually curious about this. I want to see what Andrew's take is on will the sex offender charges carry over, because that would just be like the cherry on top if he gets that.
Jump right into it, guys. In case you don't know, Ramsey Khalid Ismael is facing 8 different charges. That's for obstruction of business.
See, this is the one, Youngman. So Johnny Somali was claiming that this was dropped. It seems that he was absolutely just lying about it. That's what he does. He just lies to his audience to tell them that he's always winning. It's a fake it till you make it, but fake it till you make it doesn't really work if you go to jail. So you can see here, he was disrupting the 7-Eleven. This is when he was sitting in there, like throwing noodles and shit on the floor and drinking and harassing the old lady that worked there. Like, sweet old lady, some person's grandma or something. You never know. Disrupting the bus system, that's disrupting a business, causing people to be late. And this is like, I think everyone kind of like knows that you just don't do shit like this, because everyone's worked a shit job. And you know that if you're late for 5 minutes late or something, your boss is going to give you shit, even if it's not your fault, just because some Somali guys jumped on your bus and started dancing. The boss isn't going to accept that. And like in Asia, this is so serious. I remember when I was working in a Japanese office, like if the train was 5 minutes late, or even if it was 1 minute late, the train staff would give us cards that said, today this line was delayed for this much time. We deeply apologize, and they would bow to us. And if you handed this to your boss, the boss would be like, okay, you're free. You don't worry about it. If you didn't have this card, legit, you could get called up and maybe fired in the Japanese work environment. This is crazy. You cannot be late in these Asian countries. This is a big fucking deal. It's like, oh, it's just a bus. No, it isn't. Even people in America can understand like that shit boss that's gonna like eat your ass out for circumstances that are outside of your control. In Asia, this can literally be the difference between being fired or not. Obstruction 3, that was disrupting Lotte World. That was when he was playing, I believe it was pornographic sounds in front of children, causing operation to be, again, like just disruption of business. Disrupting a bus system again. Oh my goodness, 2 times. He also brought on a rotting fish. This is probably the same. Oh, I guess these bus cases are all probably the same time, right? Like the one event. So he was disrupting the bus 1, playing North Korean propaganda. Not a good idea, since technically North and South Korea are still at war. They only have an armistice, I believe, or armistice. And he also brought a rotting, stinking fish to make his, like, not only that, imagine the smell. He stinks. He fucking stinks. He was twerking on a bus as well. And yeah, the Yongmong and Bongbong. Now, the Yongmong is actually a really interesting one. Because I believe Johnny tried to get this dropped because Yongman has his own legal problems. Like a lot of Korean news isn't really very well published in the West, but there was a massive unrest in the Koreans system, like over the last few years, and these like crazy cults running the government. Essentially, there's all this corruption, and Yongman actually threw a brick into, I believe, a police office window. Pretty serious stuff. But as you can see from here, at maximum, he could be facing 12 years if he gets everything. He's already pled guilty to these ones. So if up to 5 years is on the table already, the judge will make a decision on these ones. So it's at maximum, it seems like 13 years could be on the table. Now, like the prosecutor's recommending 3. Seems fair, honestly. That could be a good deal. But that's the maximum. Let's see. What do you think the judge is going to go for? Oh, man, I want to put like a dollar bet on this. Anyone in chat want to do a dollar bet? 3 years seems pretty likely, though.
2 minor
How's it going,
offenses
Eva
acts
Elfire?
and 2 deep fakes.
12.5
Now,
years
he's been
max.
trying to get rid of
Repeating,
this
of
deep
course.
fake with Youngman and also the one with Bongbong, trying to kind of knock both of those things off because that's stuff that carries serious prison time, and that's the thing where you can't wiggle out with a fine.
Wiggle.
And because of that, he's already guilty on all these other counts. He already pled guilty to all these counts, but he was fighting these 2. He was really banking on today being a day where they drop those deep fakes because these deep fakes, once again, have mandatory prison time, mandatory.
Oh my goodness, it's such a fun word. Mandatory prison word time. It's not optional, chat. It's mandatory. Oh no.
Recommendations, and he's got 2 of them
no.
on his count. They had this motion to modify the indictment, and they filed this days ago. I kept that under wraps because I wanted to see where this went and how this played out. Obviously, if there was a modification, we wanted to be able to explain it. So today we found out during the hearing what that was. RKI was hoping this was going to be the deepfakes drop. They were going to get rid of the Youngman deepfake because he had a quote-unquote unofficial settlement with Youngman. But mind you, in the Korean system, the prosecutors have all of the authority as to whether or not a charge is dropped, what they do with the charge. So even
that's so funny. That's so funny. He's got these 2 mandatory sentences looming. He's like, all right, look, this Youngmon guy, he threw a brick into a police thing. He's got problems of his own. Look, let's just call it even. He's like, okay. You feel like, oh, phew, that's 50% gone. That's 50% of charges gone. Then the prosecutor's like, nah. I think we're gonna go for that. Also, Eva Elfire. Sorry, I tried to get your name right. Welcome to member status. She also does legal coverage over on her stream, and she is a VTuber. Some of whom are good people. Eva's one of the good ones, obviously. Thank you for joining as a member today. Big support on this stream.
even if you receive a settlement with a victim saying, hey, or somebody else, the other party there, because these people, Youngman and RKI, both showed the deepfake, and the deepfake was of Youngman and Hank making out naked. Very definitely fits the deepfake statute just to a T. But the prosecution did not drop the charges. In fact, they did not even mitigate the charge. All they did was update a table of contents and update dates and times of some of the crimes, including some of the deepfakes. They updated those to be correct. So all they did was issue corrections to dates and times. So this is a massive, massive loss for RKI, as his whole case was banking on getting rid of these deepfakes. So let's jump into his closing argument. What did he say? And this is the words of Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey Khalid Ismael. I'm going to break it down, and then we're going to do some analysis. So Ramsey said, I sincerely apologize for my actions in Korea.
All right, I'm going to do some pause maxing. So if you want to see this unpause max, go to Legal Mindset on YouTube. But of course, I've already liked his video. I sincerely apologize for my actions. Does anyone fucking believe this? Nobody believes this, Johnny. It's like, oh, I apologize. I mean, you have to say it. I mean, if I was in his situation, I never would be. But if I was in his situation, I'd say this too. But like, nobody believes this. It's a day late and $1 short, Johnny Somali.
I expressed remorse for the incident for which
Where was the remorse? You kept committing crimes after you were already waiting for your charges to be resolved. That's not remorse. That's doubling down. It seems like he's going to get doubled down in prison as well.
I was charged. I have been held captive here in Korea
Oh my
for a year and a
goodness.
half, during which time I committed no crimes. That, by the way, I'm going to step out there. That's very debatable, as he's got other pending stuff being investigated that's criminal activity he would potentially committed. Anyways, he says I learned to integrate into society during that time. I did some foolish things under the influence of alcohol, and I realized the consequences. I sincerely apologize for this. Having been born and raised in the United States, I did not realize how serious the consequences of the actions were.
This is just insulting to any American. It's like, well, Your Honor, I'm an American. I can't be expected to act like a rational human being. How embarrassing. The judge should just call him straight up on this. Is like, no. What do you mean? America and South Korea are very good friends, in fact, as we'll see.
Which would not be considered criminal in the U.S. and could be in Korea. I'm going to pause there. This statement and this framing, being sorry, not for what you really did, but sorry for the consequences. This is very similar to when he said, I'm sorry this offends your honor, in his previous apology about the comfort woman statute. It's not actually his actions he feels remorseful for, but the fact that there are consequences for his actions. Let's continue. I reached an agreement with Lee Jung-chuk, that's Jungman, regarding the 2 deepfakes. That's actually false. He only received a settlement regarding one. The other was with Bong Bong. He doesn't have a settlement with her. And he no longer seeks punishment. Bong Bong made it clear in court that she was unaware distributing deepfake videos was a crime and initially viewed them as not sexual content, but funny images. If she, a Korean, did not recognize the same act as a crime, how could he, an American, have known it was? When I asked Bong Bong...
Doesn't matter, because like even in every criminal system, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Doesn't fucking matter. And they can prosecute at their discretion. And it seems like they're going to exercise that ability.
Whether he had defendant's counsel consent to distribute the videos, Bong Bong said no. The law is unfair since the police didn't do anything.
I don't know. Like, I think this is really a fair, like, I don't know. I think this is good. This seems pretty fair. Like, if he just, like, if Johnny Somali, and I live in Japan, so obviously I have my heart is with Japan on this. But like, if Johnny Somali had come to Japan, made a total fool of himself, went through everything, left Japan and changed his ways, I think a lot of people would accept that. Like, obviously there'd be people that hate him forever, and it doesn't absolve him of his sins or anything. But like, you know, young people do make mistakes, you know, all the time. And part of being young is making those mistakes. But then he went to Israel and did it again. Then he went to Korea and did it a third time. And the Koreans are like, you know what, actually, third time's a charm. You're going to be here for quite a while, my friend. And now he's going to be coming out as an old man. Well, not really. Like, perhaps at minimum 28, which is basically uncle status, as the kids do say these days. So I think this is very just and fair. And it's good because it's going to set an example. Like, there's a massive problem with foreigners coming over, treating like specifically Asian countries as their own personal playground, not respecting the local law, and thinking that they can just leave and just go back to their real lives. Like, it's just like a bonus stage where nothing matters, like an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the points don't matter or something. It's not the case. People live here. This is a real country. They have they have jobs. They have family members that are getting offended by this. This has real consequences, and now you're actually learning about it. And maybe, just maybe, these IRL roaches don't stop doing this, which is an absolute win.
When I tried to report Bong Bong, all I'm asking is for the law to be applied fairly. I want to appeal to the prosecution and police. It's unfair if Bong Bong and I receive different punishments. I'm still young. I want to see my family and go home. Please.
Yeah, Eva was saying that like his family completely disowned him. I believe that is the case as well, but I'm not sure, so I didn't want to say that. But again, it's just trying to use emotional appeals. He's just trying everything. He's like, oh, I was drunk, didn't work. Oh, I'm an ignorant American. Oh, I was drunk. It was the Korean system is racist. Oh, didn't work. I want to see my family. Sorry, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Show leniency. So that is all of his arguments. So essentially, once again, in closing, Ramsey Khalid Ismael is arguing that his ignorance of Korean culture led him to attack shopkeepers, that it's okay in America to throw ramen at people, to curse, to disrupt business. Actually, no, it's not. A lot of those things would also be criminal.
Yeah, I mean, and like playing playing sexualized images and sounds around children is a big.
Okay, but trying to say that's Korean culture. The judge did not like that at all. He also claimed that Youngman doesn't want punishment, but it doesn't matter that Youngman doesn't want punishment. It's up to the prosecutors to determine whether to bring that forward or not.
I believe was there like a, am I right, Eva, am I right in saying that there was like a new prosecutor or something, or a new judge, because it's like they change every, so maybe you've been following this a little bit more closely than I have. But I believe there was like a new either female prosecutor or female judge in Johnny's case in particular that just came in. And maybe that's why they're going to take 2 months to sentence it, because they need to get back to on the deepest law. Hopefully somebody's sending him all the clips where he's like calling the judge like an idiot and stuff.
And last, he attacked Bong Bong. You see how much he focused on this is unfair. Well, this argument, as I've said from the beginning of this case, is a loser in any country when it comes to criminal defense. You cannot say I should be innocent because you didn't charge this other person who did the same thing. It's the speeding analogy. Hey, you didn't give that guy a speeding ticket, therefore you can't give me a speeding ticket. It simply doesn't work anywhere on earth, and him trying to use this here was always a loser strategy. And
this is referred to as the pretty obvious, if you think about it, legal standard.
Fact that he played it out is actually full comedy. And once again, saying he's only really sorry for these consequences of his actions. Right? And no knowledge. Ignorance of the law is not a defense, particularly in this case when he was on a spree. Continuing, the judge visibly reacted and gave side eye. This is something that was perceived by the Somali Conviction Court. The judge,
it's over. It's over. He's getting jail time. It's like confirmed. Like just start printing out the Johnny's in jail shirts. It's over. He's getting jail time.
Is normally very serious, very straight-laced, no nonsense, but he had an actual physical reaction when RKI tried to blame ignorance of Korean culture. And when he started to attack Bong Bong and imply that she should be punished, that did not go well with anybody in the room. The prosecutors, the judge, they were not having any of that, not entertained by that. This argument that the law is unfair and the police didn't do anything about Bong Bong and that they received different punishments, that did not work at all. No one in the court thought that apology was sincere, and nobody was buying that argument. So what did the prosecution drop? Well, they dropped their sentencing recommendation, and it is insane. The prosecution suggested 3 years in prison with labor. Yes, ladies.
It's happening, chat. It's happening. Evas, new member, says he's 100% getting jail time. He's so far getting 3 years. I mean, the judge still has their own discretion. The judge could decide something lighter, but no, I guess it's mandatory. If the judge does pronounce him guilty, it's mandatory jail time. But there is, I believe, one scenario where he comes out with this without jail time. I'd have to ask Andrew about that to clarify, but I believe that is the case. But if he does get either of those deepfakes cards, as mandatory jail time. I imagine he could get a bit more than that. Originally predicted to 3 to 7 years. I thought he'd get like a year, but I guess that was before I learned about the mandatory sentences. There are 2 charges. Yes, but like he pled not guilty to those charges. He's made his arguments, and now the judge is going to make the decision, right? But this 150 is so funny. I think this is my favorite detail. It's like $100 fine plus 3 years. It's almost insulting. It's great. I love it. I will check with Andrew though, because you two are lawyers and I am not. I just role play a lawyer on TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, labor. A fine of 150,000 Korean won, which is the maximum. If they could give more, they probably would give more. And sex offender registration. That is a bombshell. One of the biggest bombshells today is sex offender registration. The court is very likely to adopt the prosecution's recommendation or only give a little bit below. So 2 to 3 years, very reasonable to say. You know, they recommended 3, maybe they give 2. Very reasonable to predict that. The fine, registration, that's the very, very likely ruling that's going to come up during sentencing, which will be the next hearing. His 2 smartphones are also forfeited. He is not going to get those back.
That's like the worst fucking part about all of this. Like 3 years hard labor, that's fine. Take away my phone? No, chat. That's good. Ban him from the internet. Ban him.
And as part of being a registered sex offender, his labor will only be with other prisoners, right? So likely he is going to get factory labor job or prison toilet.
No,
because he is
Andrew, shut up. No, the cabbage stream is over. No, No, Cabbage. This is Andrew, you rat. Don't say this. No, keep the Cabbage Patch stream alive. We need to see him. We need to see him in the Cabbage Patches. Oh no, this is the worst. This is disaster, chat. All right. I mean, that's fair enough. If he's cleaning toilets, that's fine, I suppose. It's just so fun. It's just such a funny thing to be like in the cabbage fields. Toilets is fine, I guess. Like, I don't think anyone wants anything made by Johnny Somali.
Not going to be allowed as a sex offender in Korea to interact with normal people. And that is probably the best for normal human beings in Korea to not have to interact with Ramsey Khalid Ismael, Johnny Somali. So cabbage picking, unfortunately, I know we have our lovely, lovely, lovely cabbage plushie here coming soon.
Wait, is it Andrew actually making merchandise of a cute cabbage plushie? That is too funny. It's so fucking smart too. Damn it. Damn it. Why didn't I think about this?
But cabbage picking may be too good for him, because that would actually involve him working with other people. They're also required to make a public disclosure, let everybody know about his sex offender status, and also put him on a mandatory sex offender treatment. So that's all part of the recommendation there. So also, as a registered Korean sex offender, RKI, and this is the U.S.
this is what I'm curious about,
may be required to register as a U.S. sex offender under federal law, SORNA. Now, this is interesting because convictions under the laws of any foreign country I'll require you to register as long as that conviction was fair and had due process. South Korea meets this standard. He went through a lot of due process. This is considered fair by U.S. law.
There it is. That seems almost like confirmed as well. This is so funny. This is the cherry on top. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, he was a young man when he came to Asia, like 21, 22, something like that. He has spent the better part of his 20s in Asia going through the legal system. He's now 25. 3 years, he's 28. He returns to America deported, 28, no experience, no audience, banned from every platform for live streaming, sex offender. He is going to suffer forever. I don't know if you could actually get any worse than this. But does it get worse, chat? Like, what if he gets even as if he gets 3 years? What if he gets 7 years? Comes out at 32? And like, the internet has a very short memory, right? If you disappear from the internet for 2-3 months, it's like your entire audience can just leave you. He has no way of making any income. He's going to be poverty centered forever. Imagine he goes away for like 6-7 years. Nobody's going to even remember the name. There's going to be a lot of new kick streamers like new kids like Collab or whatever, like going around being dickheads in public, and that's going to be the new standard. He'll never be able to compete again. He's going to be too old. He's an uncle already.
Is considered a fair country. It's not North Korea. It's not some sort of
5 years. Could be the
other
case.
Country like Cuba or something like that that's going to have unfair political laws, etc. Because South Korea would meet that standard. So he's required to register upon 3 days of entering the U.S. So he must register in any U.S. jurisdiction where he resides, works, or attends school. Failure to register in the U.S. can carry a 10-year jail sentence. So that is waiting for him.
And he's just stupid enough to try and get it's just Korean. He's just stupid enough to try this. That would be so funny. Imagine spending those 6-7 years in Korea in jail. Then you come back, you don't register. Another 10 years. Comes out at 42. Oh my! Like, at that time, it's like the end of the Shawshank. I can't make it on the outside, boss. And then he just ends it all. This is his legacy.
Out of jail in
so
South Korea. Massive, massive W. The next trial date and sentencing is set for April 15, 2026. And now this is very funny. The judge asked him, hey, do you want to be sentenced quickly? And Johnny Somali said, yes, I would like to be sentenced quickly. And essentially ignored his wish in a little FU to Somali, ignored that and normal procedure, which is setting the sentencing 2 weeks after closing arguments. These were closing arguments. 2 weeks after would be early March or mid-March. No, we're going to put it in April 15th. So they set it for 2 months instead. So even on the way out, it looks bad for Johnny Somali. This is a total loss for Cabbage Boy.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Andrew. Now, oh my gosh. Put it on the cabbage thing. he may be able to capitalize on his lolcow status when he gets out. I don't think so. Like, maybe he'll be like a guest on a podcast or something after 3 years. But like, if he doesn't have the ability to stream, he doesn't have the ability to make money, and his audience is very fickle. They're going to leave for the next crazy person that's going to be a dickhead on IRLs. He's completely forgotten. People say he won't be forgotten on the farms of the casino. Like, only if he comes out of jail and starts broadcasting again. He can't do that. No platform will have him. So like, he may do these things, but nobody's going to be around to see it. I think he's just absolutely cooked. I think it's just over. I think it's just over for him. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. I'm very sad that Johnny will not be on the cabbage farm. So that's the only sad thing. I guess we couldn't get away with everything, chat. But it is the last day of Black History Month, so big fun for stream. I think we're going to be April 15th. I might book the flights today, and like, even though I haven't made the plans for April yet, and just see what happens. I mean, I think I have to be there, even if I'm just outside the courtroom, watching him being brought out in chains. I think, and big support from Trucker Rob on the last day of Black History Month, the perfect time for it. I'm going to head out. A bit of a short and sweet stream today, but had to get this news out here. It came out last night, and I was already doing something else. So have a great day, guys, and peace. Oh, wait, no, wait, before we stop, we've got Kips Films Melbourne with $8, Australian dollars. In fact, he says, I still think put spam can in the white cell room, and he'll eat white food, milk, and hallucinate for the what are you talking about? Put a spam can in a white cell room, and he'll eat white food, milk, and hallucinate for the rest of his life. Is this some sort of I don't know what this is. This is cruel and unusual punishment, but maybe I'm for it. I don't know. I think that seeing the worst happen would be very, very entertaining. All right. There we go. There we go. All right, chat. Have a nice one. Peace.
Was this story based? Yes.